What if I told you there is a simple reason you keep postponing your happiness, and it's not because you're lazy or broken, it's your brain, more precisely, the way your brain has been trained to think. Give me 9 minutes and watch this video till the end if you want to understand who's really in control inside your mind. Chances are that you'll never look at your thoughts the same way again. The book is called Positive Intelligence, written by Shirzad Chamine, and here are my 4 biggest insights from it that completely rewired how I see myself, my habits, and my approach to life. Let's go! Hi everyone, my name is Peter Fetisov. I'm a career and well-being coach here in Ireland, and my life purpose is to help people rediscover their true selves and live a happier life. What is positive intelligence? According to author of this book, we are all born with a supercomputer, our brain, but nobody gives us an instruction manual. So we end up using it based on primitive survival instincts, mainly driven by amygdala region of our brain. And the result? In order to avoid danger and survive at all costs, we tend to overdevelop our internal saboteurs, thought patterns, and automatic mental habits that focus solely on threats around us. Author gives them specific names like the judge, the controller, the hyperachiever, and 7 others. These saboteurs hijack our thinking and emotions every single day. And the scary part that many of us completely not aware about them. But there is a good news. Everyone has a powerful inner sage, a wiser, calmer part of our brain that sees life through very different lens. Technically, it lives in our prefrontal cortex, the most advanced part of the human's brain evolution. The goal of increasing your positive intelligence is very simple: to strengthen the voice of the sage and quiet your internal saboteurs. And do this not just theoretically with rational mind, but through small everyday physical practices grounded in neuroscience and cognitive psychology. So let's talk about 4 biggest insights from this book that really stuck with me. Insight number 1. The book gave me the unique opportunity to find out the particular names and characteristics of my most loud internal voices, my own list of top saboteurs. I did a quick online test and it showed me that I have perfectionist, called stickler, and avoider, being the strongest of them all. Strength 10 out of 10 if you see here on the chart. And knowing those saboteurs well in detail allowed me to start weakening their power day after day and minimize the destruction they were making in my life. I'll give you a quote. Saboteurs are like hungry snails in your beautiful garden. You can plant beautiful intentions, habits, and goals in your life, but if you don't remove the sabotaging thoughts, nothing will ever grow. Here comes the insight number 2. Each and every one of us has a lot of sage power inside, and using your sage in times of difficulty brings peace, clarity, and wise action, even in the middle of crisis. The author goes into details about those 5 great sage powers. He calls it empathize, explore, innovate, navigate, and activate. I wouldn't unpack each of them now, but you can Google them easily to know what they mean. Understanding the range of sage powers changed how I show up in high-stress moments, with clients, with my family, even with moments of self-doubt. The metaphor that comes to my mind, it's like driving a car in the fog and being able to dissolve this fog with just your thought, and the road immediately turns out to be much safer for everyone, including you. Insight number 3. Positive intelligence principles could be applied literally in any major aspect of my life. Career development, family and kids parenting, taking care of my health and physical activity, social interactions with friends, etc., etc. So it's like an operating system instead of a very narrow and specific app that solves one task. Your mind is your best friend, but it is also your worst enemy. This just blew my mind. It's not what happens to us that causes stress, but how we decide to respond to it, consciously or subconsciously. Because true happiness is in our internal choice. And my favorite insight number 4, I'll just read a 3-minute long quote directly from the book. Bear with me, it's really worth it. So it's called The Stallion Story. An older farmer lives on his farm with his teenage son. He also has a beautiful stallion that he lovingly cares for. The farmer enters his stallion into the annual country fair competition. His stallion wins the first prize. The farmer's neighbors gather to congratulate him on his great win. He calmly says, Who knows what is good and what is bad? Puzzled by his reaction, the neighbors go away. The next week, some thieves who heard about the stallion's increased value steal the horse. And when the neighbors came to commiserate with the farmer, they found him again very calm and gathered. He says, "Who knows what is good and what is bad?" Several days later, the spirited stallion escapes from the thieves and finds his way back to the farm, bringing with him a few wild mares he has befriended along the way. To his neighbors' excited rounds of congratulations, the old farmer once again says, "Who knows what is good and what is bad?" A few weeks later, the farmer's son is thrown off one of these new mares as he's trying to break it in, and his leg is fractured. As the neighbors gather to commiserate the old farmer, he once again reminds them, who knows what is good and what is bad. The following week, the imperial army marches through the village, conscripting all eligible young men for the war that has just broken out. The old farmer's son is spared due to his fractured leg. The neighbors no longer bother to come to the old farmer to congratulate him. By now, they know what his response will be. Who knows what is good and what is bad? My personal transformation. Let me be real with you. During the last several years of working at Google as a team lead and sales manager, I was often driven by my inner judge and perfectionist. Everything had to be done right, on time, and to 100% perfection. Otherwise, I shouldn't even start. Yes, now I understand that I was too harsh with myself. Sounds familiar? But after I read this book, I started noticing those internal voices of my saboteurs in my head and labeling them on the spot. For example, instead of blindly believing those voices like, "I'm not doing enough with this particular client," I started pausing and asking myself, is this my saboteur speaking or my sage? And correcting it in the moment. My nasty judge says that I'm not doing enough with this particular client. This is such a huge difference in meaning, isn't it? And because it leaves the room for another opinion. For example, my sage believes that I'm going to be very well prepared for the next meeting with this client. And one big and important change, I added daily meditation into my routine. Not because I should, but because I understood that my brain needed that reset and rebuild neural connections. That 20 minutes a day of breathing and visualization helped me rewire my mental patterns. As a result, now I react to life challenges with more empathy and curiosity straight away. I see options and opportunities where before I saw only threats. And it all started with this simple book. Why this matters to you. You might be wondering, okay, sounds great, but how does this apply to my life? Well, if you're anything like me or many of my coaching clients, you have life goals, responsibilities, and high standards. But you also have an endless inner dialogue that constantly evaluating, doubting, or pushing you too hard. Reading this book and practicing what it teaches helped me to reclaim my mental clarity and emotional energy. It gave me simple tools to stop reacting from fear or criticism and start acting from love, curiosity, and purpose. Chapters 10, 11, and 12 are full of detailed case studies where author explains how PQ principles help specific family, a working professional, a different sales team, and even the whole organization to improve. And that's why I think Positive Intelligence should be essential reading for anyone who wants to not just survive, but grow sustainably and powerfully. Remember, your mind doesn't have to be your enemy. You can train it to become your greatest ally. So here's my invitation to you. Pick up this book. Even just a few chapters could change your perspective significantly. Do the simple and free online test to find out your strongest saboteurs. I leave the link in the description. Try simple daily mental exercises, practices of mindfulness, touch awareness, or just focus on your breath. It could be done with any app of your choice or just guided podcast. Ask yourself which voice I'm listening to right now, my judge or my sage. If you want to discover more ideas how to transform your well-being in your 40s, check out my next video here about 5 simple daily habits that changed my life in 2025. And if you found this particular video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more interesting book reviews and inspiration on building a fulfilled life. I regularly share tools and ideas to help you slow down, reconnect, and realign your life with what really matters. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.